Want to know the latest and hottest music hitting the airwaves? Don't be left out. Listen to the Golden State Media Concepts Music Podcast. Keith keeps you on the loop with everything you need to know from pop, rock, hip-hop, and the top 40. And we'll throw in news of your favorite artists, concert and tour dates, and so much more. Listen no further, because this is the gold standard in music podcast.
Hello. I don't know why I said that so many times. Welcome to the GSMC Music Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I am your overly enthusiastic host, Keith, and this is my also overly enthusiastic host, Cynthia.
Hey. I know, I love that. Hello. This is the first music episode for December.
Oh my goodness.
It is.
Yeah.
It's December, so we have to be, jolly and in high spirits. I'm definitely am actually. I love the beginning of the month. You know why?
Why?
Because I don't know. I feel like it gives me time to set new goals. I love setting new monthly goals, and it gives me a chance to reassess all the things that went down the previous month and how can I improve. So I don't know. I'm
what
very
went down.
Right. What all went down, and just kind of every month I try to improve and just, I don't know, be better. And it's December. I'm always I love this time of the year. Besides my birthday, which is in summer. Hint.
What day?
June 28th. So
exciting.
If you guys want to send me a gift or something, or cash at me, Venmo me, I'm open to it.
Yeah,
but no, I do.
We'll post your Venmo account in the comments so everybody can see it.
Right. No, but I do love this time of year. I'm in a good mood. I love December. So, and again, it's the first episode, so we have to talk about Christmas.
Do we?
We do a little bit.
Okay, probably a lot of it. If
a
we're
lot
being
of
honest.
it, right?
This whole episode may or may not be about Christmas, but I think we're going to rename Christmas Chillmas.
Chillmas, yeah.
Yeah,
because I think
it's chilly outside.
It's chilly. I feel like these are definitely songs you can chill to.
I guess
and you can.
I mean, the first record, I don't know how. There's some chill songs on there, but
we'll get into it later. But
yeah. So what are we talking about first?
Very first one, and we have to start off the Christmas episode with the Queen of Christmas herself, Mariah Carey.
Oh,
All I Want for Christmas Is You. That's iconic. That song.
Yeah.
You don't seem too enthusiastic. What happened? Where did it die off 2 minutes ago?
No. I love that song.
I
don't want to admit that I like it so much. It's okay.
Everybody loves it though.
Okay, I don't want to sound mean, but have you ever seen the movie or read the book American Psycho?
No.
Okay, so I'm not going to go into this huge thing because this is not the book podcast. I've read that book. I've seen the movie. They're both incredible. If you're into psychological thrillers or train of thought, late 80s era literature stuff, which honestly is kind of boring for some people, so I would not blame you if you don't like it. But he does this thing in that book where he reviews records that are super popular. So one that really impacted me when I was reading the book is he does this review of Invisible Touch by Genesis, and that is their most pop friendly accessible record. It's the first record where they had switched lead singers over to Phil Collins from Peter Gabriel, and it's just this tour de force of pop music. And the way that I think Bret Easton Ellis is the guy who wrote American Psycho, the way that he describes it is just so profoundly different from how everybody else has ever described it in reviews that it actually got me to listen to the record, and I loved it. And from that point on, I had a new profound sense of appreciation for things that are poppy. And this falls into that category, but that doesn't mean that I don't still feel a little bit guilty about how much I love it.
You think you consider Mariah Carey's track "All I Want for Christmas Is You" as poppy?
Yeah. So, when I say pop, I'm not necessarily referencing to the way that technically the Beatles were pop, right? Mm-hmm. So at the time that they came out, they were the popular music because pop is just
pop. What's poppin'? Right.
Yeah. It's just a way to refer to what is hip and happening right now, what all the bangers are, right?
The bangers. There we go. Learning terminology out here.
Thank you.
But, no, I agree. It has like a rock and roll feel to
Absolutely,
it almost.
yeah.
Like, I definitely feel myself like swaying and like kind of getting a little dance to it. But
like how All I Want for Christmas Is You. It's like
whoa,
you know?
It is.
It's
and
great.
for some reason, I always think of Macy's.
Oh.
Because every time I walk into Macy's, they're always playing Mariah Carey songs.
I'm like 90% sure that they like enlisted her as a Christmas spokesperson at some point during the last like 20 years. Mm-hmm. And that's why we associate those two things, because I have the same association.
Do you?
Seriously, yeah. When I think of All I Want for Christmas Is You, I think of department store.
Yeah, me too. Because they're played everywhere, especially during this time. You walk into any, how you said department store, they're playing this song. But I mean, it's timeless. Like it really is. And to think that Mariah Carey, I was watching an interview that she did, and I can't remember with who, but she wrote this song in an hour.
Wow.
In an hour. That's impressive.
Wait, it's an original?
Mm-hmm. She wrote it.
Wow.
She wrote it. That's why. Oh no, this is Mariah Carey's favorite time of year. She's getting paid. Okay, she is getting paid, and this is actually one of the best-selling songs of all time. Like, not even just in the Christmas category, like of all songs of all time.
I think it's a worldwide hit. Like I've heard of places in like Japan or China that absolutely love Mariah Carey almost exclusively because of this Christmas album that she put out, which I mean, like, to be honest, the track listing on this is really good. She does a Silent Night. She does an Oh Holy Night. She's got a Miss You Most at Christmas Time. She's got a Joy to the World. She does Hark the Herald Angels Sings and Jesus, Oh What a Wonderful Child. Like, those are just all staples.
Yeah,
and
so for
it's Mariah Carey's incredible vocals.
And for those of you who don't know, so All I Want for Christmas Is You just hit the 25th anniversary this year.
Oh, wow.
So to celebrate the 25th anniversary of that hit song, she did release a deluxe Christmas album like a week ago called Merry Christmas. So it has all of those like classic like Christmas songs like White Christmas, Silent Night. All of those are on the deluxe album that just released. And I didn't get a chance to listen through the whole thing, but yeah, how you said, it's her vocals that really make it. And even though she's pushing 50 almost, she's 49 and she still can hit those high notes like nobody else. She's
definitely lucky. A lot of people's voices change. As a music major, we talked about this in college, when I was in college. Your voice changes, I think, when you're like between the ages of 7 and 11, and then again when you're between the ages of like 13 and 16, and then again when you're between the ages of like 23 and 28, and then again like a couple more times throughout your life, like once when you're like 38 to 45, and then one more time, I mean, if you make it that far, when you're between like 68 and 75.
Well, of course, can you imagine if you still spoke the same way you spoke like in high school or elementary school? I definitely don't sound the same.
No, and I don't either.
Thank God, because I don't want to. But no, Mariah Carey still absolutely has it. And this song is just so catchy. And I love the harmonies in the song. And yeah, I really love it. It's timeless. And to think that this song, this hit record, was written in the 90s, because it doesn't have a 90s sound to it. And that was in the interview that I watched. She stated that when she was writing this song, her whole purpose when she was writing, she wanted to make sure that the sound is classic. She wants the song to be played for years and years and years. And I think she's definitely has accomplished that. And
it's timeless.
And especially, again, she wrote this song. This isn't a cover, you know. Many artists do a lot of Christmas covers and Christmas albums, but again, they're covers. This is an original that she wrote, and it skyrocketed. So I applaud Mariah Carey, and she's getting paid during this time of year, so that's why she's always so jolly, so happy. And
she could also just legitimately like Christmas. She did write out like the classic premier Christmas song.
She makes $60 million in royalties from this song.
What?
Yeah, $60 million in royalties.
Seriously?
Yes, every year for Christmas. For the
my gosh.
And then for the last 25 years, like, you can see why she's overly excited for this time of year, because she's like, I'm like the richest during this time of year.
I know, yeah.
Not that she needs like more money, because she's already pretty well off, but I mean.
Hasn't she been in the news a lot lately for like looking so fly?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I feel like she was like trending on Google one time because of like a picture of her in some specific form of clothing, and everyone was like, "Oh, she looks so great."
Mm-hmm.
So
I mean, she does. Like, I didn't know she was almost 50. Mm-hmm. She doesn't look 50.
She's kind of like got that like Jennifer Aniston miraculously timeless look to her. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, and she's got the miraculously timeless voice.
She does.
What's funny? We're going to talk about a record later that you said you didn't like, but its fingerprints are all over this record.
Oh,
so
yeah.
without the record that we're talking about later, this one wouldn't exist, if I'm being honest with you. Because, I'll just save it for when we talk about that record later.
Yeah. Okay. And in addition, something else I wanted to add. So her co-writer and producer, Walter, he said in an interview,
you're not going to try to pronounce his last name?
No, I'm not, because I'm not even going to try.
It's Afonso Fief.
I hope that's correct.
Afonso Fief.
We'll go with that. So Walter Afonso Fief said that he, at first, when he was producing the song for Mariah Carey, he initially did not like the track. He thought it was too simple and that the keys and the melody was oversimplified. And he's a musician, so he was kind of explaining like the whole like da-na-na-na-na-na. I mean, you know music too, Keith. Right. He was saying that melody is just too simple. So he actually didn't believe in the track at first. But he says that because it was so simple and that anybody can sing along to it, I think that's why the song has done so well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you want to get into like breaking down the actual structure of it, like we can get down onto a micro level here. So music, there's very popular chord progressions that are pretty common within most songs, right? Mm-hmm. So if he's a musician and she's like, I want to do this thing that's going to last forever, he's going to be like, well, it has to be unique. But like, that's because he's trying too hard, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of musicians will do this where they think that they have to make something more complicated in order to make people like it, right? But the reality is that we as listeners like things to be more simple, because when things are cohesive and simple, there's no dissonance and it sounds good. So like, I'm 90% sure that like We Wish You a Merry Christmas is the same chord progression as, and by chord progression I mean like the primary notes that you hear, like the do 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 do, right? And it's almost the same melody as Mr. Sandman. Like that's a classic one. But there's just this basic melody that we have all heard so many times that when you put something new over the top of it, or you change the texture of the music, it becomes intriguing, and our brain kind of like tricks us into thinking that it's something different than it actually is. But those chord progressions are something that we like because they hold within them like a natural harmony that exists in the way that we hear natural sounds in the world, if that makes sense.
Right.
So it's all about overtone structures. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is this guy was just trying too hard and thought that he had to make things way more complex than he actually needed to in order to make a good song.
Right. But and then he actually admits that. He's like, but I was wrong. And he's and you know what's crazy is actually all of the keys and beats in the track with Mariah Carey are computerized.
What?
They're from
it's
a
all
computer.
MIDI? Wow. So it's all samples.
Yes.
Wow. That's
in the interview, I wish I could like link the video here, because it's a short interview.
Do you remember what it's called?
Like 5 minute. No, I didn't.
How'd you find it? Because I want to watch it now.
I know. Honestly, on YouTube, I don't. I think I just typed Mariah Carey "All I Want for Christmas" and then all these videos popped up, but I can't remember who provided the video. But it's short, like 5 minutes long, and I was really interested because obviously you want to know the backstory of how the song came about, and that's how I learned that she wrote it. They recorded at her home studio. All the keys and beats are from a computer, and she wrote it, busted it out in an hour. So again, I applaud Mariah Carey, and
Yeah.
I know I would be so happy if I were her too.
Yeah.
And I think on that note, we're going to take a quick break.
Yeah.
And when we come back, we're going to discuss a different Christmas album. So we'll be right back.
Always on the go, but the day just won't be one without your Hollywood fix. Let Golden State Media Concepts Entertainment Podcast take care of that. An all-inclusive look of pop culture.
Welcome back to the GSMC Music Podcast. We're talking about something else now, also related to Christmas. It's super chill.
Super chill.
So it's Christmas and chill, which is an excellent title for anything, but it's an even more excellent title for an excellent set of songs by Ariana Grande.
Excellent. So you would say, yeah, so we're talking about Ariana Grande's EP, Christmas and Chill. That's the name of it. So you would say it's excellent because you did say it's excellent songs.
So we do the movie podcast together, right? So, and I know we're not supposed to be self-referential. I don't know if it's in our contract or not, but I'm just going to do it anyway. I'm trying to be funny. I don't know if it's working. And in that movie podcast, we talk about how Jingle All the Way exists in this unique space that isn't occupied by very many other good things. This EP does the same thing, but it does it well. So, like, how many other EPs or Christmas albums are out there that are like these sultry, like, I don't know if I'd call it hip hop.
They're like
but it's
R&B
like
vibe.
Slow grind love songs that have something to do with either Christmas or winter. Because like the last song is just called Winter Stuff.
Yeah, Winter Things.
Winter Things, yes. Yeah. Which is such a great, it's just so great. But
And it's a short, quick EP. I mean, that's the point of an EP, right? So it's only 6 songs.
When it ended, I was actually a little disappointed. I am
too.
not going to lie.
Me too. I wanted more. Like, we already know Ariana Grande has the vocals. That girl can sing. So now for her to put like a really sexy spin to Christmas songs, I was digging it. I loved it. Her EP actually released in 2015, but shockingly, it wasn't doing so well. It's one of her most underrated projects.
Yeah.
And I think she
so
didn't
seasonal.
right. And she
Yeah.
didn't do a lot of promotion. Also, when it first released in 2015, she didn't really promote the album or the EP. It's just kind of, she released it. It's out there for the world. And
I had never heard of it, and I usually follow my girl, Ariana Grande, she's my girl.
That's his girl. There we go. And it actually just re-entered the top 40
which congrats
charts on
to
iTunes.
her.
Right,
Maybe she'll make like a third of how much money Mariah Carey makes this year.
Absolutely. And she actually tweeted, because she even understood like this album is not doing, or this EP is not doing so great. And she tweeted about a few days ago, and I quote, she says, "Oh my God, my favorite body of work. She is rising from the dead. Thank you, new listeners of Christmas and Chill, and hello everyone that is just now discovering it. I'm so happy."
How sweet.
So, and that's such like an Ari tweet, like, she's rising from the dead, like talking about her EPs. That's
From
she.
the third person. Yeah.
But no, I really enjoyed the project. I listened to it twice because it's only about 13 minutes long if you listen to it once through.
Right.
It's fairly quick, but
And the first song just like hits you in the face.
the intro,
with
right?
So
The
much
intro's
good
so
stuff.
good.
Yeah. Well, not the intro. Sorry, the first full song.
Oh, okay.
The like you have the you have the lyrics in here.
Oh, yeah.
And they're so bad, they're good. I'm tasty like a candy cane.
You know I'm tasty like a
Yeah.
candy cane, and I'm the only drum that you're going to play with. So those
Yeah.
are lyrics from her song "With It This Christmas."
Right.
Definitely not child appropriate.
No,
so that is one thing.
Don't play this or on the radio with your kids in the car. I mean, you can. You parent however you want to parent. You do you. But like, I'm just saying, if my 5th grader was singing that, I wouldn't be comfortable.
Right, like with
them singing that.
Right? She said, I'm tasty like a candy cane. Be like, what are you saying?
Yeah.
So it's definitely, this EP is definitely for a more grown adult audience. You would not hear any of her songs playing in the department stores and malls. Not like Mariah Carey's. No. It's not like that. These aren't like timeless.
I mean, maybe winter things. Maybe. Because like the chorus is just like, I'm gonna do winter things with Bae or something like that. Like,
but the majority of these songs are love songs. Like they're love Christmas songs. So definitely a EP you may want to listen to like with your boo by the fireplace. Set the vibe.
Yeah,
and I think
make some hot chocolate. Have you ever had hot chocolate with wine in it?
No. Would I want to mix the two?
It sounds gross, right? But it's actually really good. You get like a dark red wine. And then like you heat up your little pan on the stove. Like you use like I don't think it's a saucepan. It might be a saucepan. I don't know. A small pot. You heat it up and then you pour a little bit of wine in there. And you put some cloves and some cinnamon.
Ooh.
And then you like sit down while it's raining, or if like you live in places where it's actually cold while it's snowing, and you're like, enjoying that cuddle weather. And then you just pop on this Ariana Grande record. It's really going to set the mood. Like,
it definitely is. Like,
what are the tracks is called? Not just, what is it? Like not only on Christmas or something like that. Not just on Christmas.
Not just on Christmas.
And like, we all know what that means.
Right.
No,
this is definitely like a mature audience. Audience needs to listen to this, but it's not raunchy. Like, we're not giving the vibe. It's definitely not
this
raunchy.
This is not a 50 Cent song. Like,
no, this isn't raunchy. There's like a R&B, sultry, love Christmas song, and I think I absolutely love it. Out of a 10, I give it a 10. Period.
Really? You think that there is nothing that could have been done to improve this?
Make it longer.
Okay, well then it's a 9.5.
9.5. Okay, we'll go with a 9.5. And my favorite track on the project was December, which is actually the most popular track from her whole project. So I loved all of them, but December definitely is the one that stood out to me. And I think because the beats are more like pop, R&B, so it's more like a little dance feel. And
the whole thing moves pretty well. Like it definitely doesn't
cohesive.
ever feel too slow. Yeah. Do you know if she did any like special collaborations with people? Because you're referring to it as like a project. So I just wanted to know if there was like somebody who was producing on this that didn't produce something else of hers.
No, I know she had other writers that helped her with the song.
Well, most artists do.
I shouldn't be saying this. Well, I guess it's a mini project. She did mention it took her about a week to write all these songs out.
Yeah.
So it's not, like an album that usually takes like months or even years to complete. Whereas this was just kind of really quick. But for a week, that's pretty good. All of it. And I'll mention later on when we discuss a different album. I really love, I'm not huge on Christmas music to be honest, but I do love like a modern twist to it. I'm not really big on like the whole, like, we wish you a Merry Christmas.
That like campy.
Yeah, I'm not really like into that YMCA type stuff. So that's just my personal opinion. Right. But no, I really, really enjoyed Christmas and Chill. I think it's an appropriate song for the EP, or the appropriate title, Christmas and Chill for the EP. And I highly recommend this album. Or sorry, I keep messing up. I recommend this EP to honestly anyone and everyone except maybe if you're under
it's
12.
It's PG-13.
Right, PG-13.
Yeah,
I definitely say PG-13.
I mean, honestly, like, again, you parent however you want to parent. I just don't even think that your kid's going to be able to appreciate what it is that Ariana Grande is doing until they're like 17. Like, there's just a lot going on in this record that is like sultry and subtle and like sexy. And I think to appreciate the musicality of it, you need to have a little bit of an understanding of how she's able to convey that.
Right.
I would give this record, I mean, in isolation outside of Christmas, I'd give it like a 7.5. But like as far as in comparison to other options for Christmas listening, I would give it like an 8 to an 8.5. It's pretty good.
I think that's one of the highest ratings you've given so far on.
I mean, I
show.
gotta stick with Ms. Grande. Like
Miss Grande, that's your girl. You said that's your girl.
Yeah, I really like her songs. I think she does a good job with what she's got, and I think it's hilarious. She used to be on Nickelodeon, right? That was her thing. She was on a Nickelodeon
was on
show
Disney
first.
Channel.
Was it Disney Channel? Okay. Yeah, I just always think it's funny when like Miley Cyrus is another great example. I like, not to say that I like anything that she did. In my opinion, I don't think that her music was very good, but it's just always funny that like these Disney created actors that become pop stars, like the Jonas Brothers is like another example of that. It's always funny to see them get like boxed up and shipped out to the masses. So and I think that Ariana Grande is a lot of fun. But
she is.
On that note, we're going to take a quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to be talking about a much older record that you all should listen to, except for Cynthia, who apparently didn't like it. But we'll talk more about that in a minute.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Hello and welcome back to GSMC Music Podcast, and we're now moving on to a different Christmas album to dissect and analyze, and I want Keith to introduce this one because...
So in my opinion, this is the greatest Christmas record of all time.
Oh, like that?
Yeah, I would give this record a 8.75 out of 10.
Whoa.
In the grand scheme
above Ms. Grande.
Above Ms. Grande. I just want to emphasize it's Ms. because she's still unmarried, right?
Yeah, she's still not married.
Okay, so she's Ms. You saying well, I guess Miss is Miss. You're right. You were right. I am needlessly correcting you. I just wanted to bring up the fact that she's still single. Anyway. That was me trying to be funny again. You got to let me know if that's working.
I think you guys gotta let us know in the comments if it's working.
Yeah. Do you think Keith is funny? Because I'm not sure.
Yeah, let us know if you like his dad jokes.
Oh, they're so bad. Anyway, and if in the grand scheme of Christmas music, I would rate this record as perfect. It's like one of the very few things I would ever give a 10 out of 10 to. It's Phil Spector's A Christmas Gift for You. It was released on the same day that President John F. Kennedy was assassinated, which is an interesting fact that I actually wasn't aware of.
And that's why it didn't do as well at that time. And they widely blamed for that decline in sales and everything because of the assassination, which makes sense. It's not chart. Everyone's very not in the mood to listen to that type of music.
And at the time, there was not a global market for that kind of a thing.
So that's why they blame the John F. Kennedy assassination for their poor chart performance in the U.S. But later on, I read, I think in 1972, his album skyrocketed in that time. So it's just, and that's really all with music. It's all about your timing. It really is. It really is.
Yeah. So this record is kind of like a collaboration effort, really. It's all of, there's a lot of the classic like I think it's called Motown.
Yeah,
groups.
Motown.
Yeah, classic Motown groups that that Phil Spector had worked with previously and collaborated with previously. He kind of brought a bunch of them together to do these collection of Christmas songs ranging from like White Christmas, I Saw Mommy Kissing Santa Claus to like Silent Night. And I mean, like, honestly, every single one of the songs on this record is like, it's impeccable to me. Like, I really am surprised that you don't like it.
No, well, it's just, again, this is my personal opinion. I like the modern sound better. Like, these songs, again, they were released in the 60s, so it just has that older tune to it.
Right.
So, and they're classic songs. I mean, they're White Christmas. Like, it has all, like, how you said, or you mentioned earlier, if it weren't for these songs, we wouldn't have the modern songs or the modern twists to Christmas carols today. You know, like for Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You, a lot of it samples these tracks. So
yeah, and I want to mention that since we're kind of on the subject. So you mentioned specifically in your show notes the concept of the wall of sound.
Yes.
Do you know what that means?
No. So when I'm going to go based off Google. So when I looked up what the wall of sound is, because I honestly had no idea what that even meant. It's my understanding was that it's a music production / like technique.
It's a recording technique, yeah.
For like rock and pop music. But you're the music major, so I want to get your opinion because that was my understanding that Phil Spector, he is widely known for the wall of sound. But I want you to kind of dive a little deeper into what that really means.
Yeah, so it's like his classic fingerprint for all of his music. And the way that he kind of achieved it and why it was so different was that like the recording like techniques that they used at the time, everything was single tracked. And so because we didn't have like a digital, so we have like a DAW to work digitally where you can have like multiple inputs into a computer and it will capture all of that sound at the same time. It used to be that you had to like literally cut bits and pieces of tape and like glue them together.
Like cassette tapes?
Yeah. Well, kind of like cassette tapes. It's not the same exact material, but I think that like what would happen is a microphone would record the sound onto a piece of ribbon, right? And not like decorative ribbon, like kind of like film type of material. And then you would take like acetone or another material. It may have even just been tape, and you would literally tape the different things together. And like the way that you would make sure that everything was in tempo was you'd like watch the spikes in the inputs and things like that, and you'd move it around and adjust it, and then you would play that whole thing through a different machine that would interpret all of those like sound wave markings on the tape into one track. So if you messed up like any part of the tape at any point, it's not like you could just go back and like slice in a new piece of tape. You had to do the whole thing over again. So what Phil Spector did was he said, I want everything to play at the same time, and I'm just going to mic the room, which was not what people did, because you would have to, like, imagine trying to sing in front of a huge band without a microphone, or with a microphone that also picks up the band. So, like, he had this really good recording technique where he could basically just get, like, everything in the room at the same time. And like the classic way to tell that it's a Phil Spector is like if you listen anytime there's piano, I'm like 90% sure that he almost never has the piano player take their foot off the sustain pedal, because when he's recording the piano, like, have you ever played a piano before?
No.
Okay, so when you go sit down and play a piano, or if you have a piano,
I've seen like the foot part at the bottom.
Right. So the far right pedal is called the sustain pedal. And what that does is when you push down on it, it removes the felt from the strings that are in the body of the piano. That felt chokes the string. And so, like, if you hit a piano key and you hold it down, it will continue to vibrate at the same rate. But if you just strike the key and remove your finger immediately, then the sound will stop, because there's a felt at the end of all of the wires that run through the body of the piano. And when you hit the hammer strikes past the felt, and the length of that wire is what determines the note that's being played. So when you remove your finger from the key, the hammer gets removed, and the point of vibration shifts back to the felt, and the felt absorbs the vibration. But when you're playing with the sustain pedal down the entire time, that means that the vibrations are continuing at a natural rate of decay. And like, if you ever get the chance to sit in front of a piano and you play like the low note on the piano and you keep the foot pedal down and you take your finger off the key, like that sound will stick around for a long time because it's this big, thick wire at incredibly high tension that is being struck by a mallet in order to create a sound. So when you have all of these different frequencies and everything in the room interacting with each other and the sustain pedal and the piano down, it will literally echo the frequencies in the piano and cause the piano strings to vibrate, which creates like this weird, I wouldn't call it dissonance necessarily because it's all of the notes kind of vibrating at the same time, but it creates this weird effect of space because it feels like there's so much, like it feels like you're in this huge cavern when really he's just in this tiny little studio room. And he's not using an effect like reverb to achieve that. He's using like the natural acoustic qualities of the instruments and the microphones. And because he did all of the instruments, all the vocals, everything at the same time, like that recording technique was not only incredibly difficult to actually like pull off, but it creates this really unique sound. Does that make sense?
Wow. I try to follow that. I felt like I'm in that was overly complicated for me. I was trying to follow you. I was like following like the first minute. And I feel I'm like in a music class. I mean, I'm trying to learn, not like that was just like, I think I couldn't follow because I have like zero musical background.
Yeah, you've never even sat in front of a piano.
Right.
So, yeah,
I just know like dance. Like I used to dance. So, and I love to dance. So that's how I'm in tune with music. I feel like you're in tune with music in a different way than I am.
Are you using in tune as a pun?
I am. Did you catch it? But I think that's why it makes this show so interesting because you and I kind of pick up on different things. And what I find what makes like a hit record or like a hit track is through body. That's how I'm connected with music, is through body, because I used to dance. And I feel you're more connected because of your musical background. You studied it and you play instruments. Again, the furthest I ever did was the recorder in 4th grade. Don't they make everyone do that?
Everybody plays the recorder.
No, that's really interesting because I was trying to read up on what the wall of sound really is. And I feel like every definition and everything I was looking up, I couldn't really quite get it.
Yeah, it takes a lot of explanation, and you have to kind of understand the mechanics of what's happening within the instruments and the microphones. But the reason that I went on that whole diatribe, we talked about Mariah Carey earlier, right? That classic song, All I Want for You is Christmas, right? That piano part is pretty much just directly ripped from something that Phil Spector would have put on his record. It's fast, it's percussive, and it's
it's up-tempo.
Up-tempo, it's through the whole song, and like it makes it feel like the song is happening in this huge like concert hall, right? Yeah. Am I the only one who thinks that? No, because
he said no.
Answering my own question. So I was saying no because you agree with me. Without this record, almost every other pop Christmas record that we've had wouldn't exist. The only thing that like even rivals the influence are the more commercially successful records of like Bing Crosby or the other crooners who all did. So you would records.
suggest? Are you suggesting that Phil Spector's album are like the inventors of Christmas songs?
No. I would say, especially considering like the crooners came before this, right? And they're the ones that established that there was a market for this, and that's why we even have this record. Yeah. And like you mentioned, this record didn't do well at first, and like it's still kind of like
flopped.
It's still like the sleeper pick, because it really, honestly, it's a Christmas record for musicians. It's not a Christmas record for popular consumption. Like there's just a lot to it that like the regular person isn't looking for in their listening experience. But like if you're the kind of person who has like studied music history or who has studied,
then you can appreciate it more.
Then it's got so much to appreciate. But on the lighter note, did you have any songs that you did like off of it?
I liked White Christmas. Yeah. I already like that song. I mean, it's a classic. So no, I enjoyed White Christmas.
But yeah, Darlene Love, she's excellent.
Yes, yeah. And they also have the Ronettes on there, right? They had,
they're super fun.
Just to clarify, Phil Spector, he's just the producer, right? Like he isn't actually on any of the tracks.
Yeah, so Darlene Love is on like 2 or 3. The Ronettes are on 2 or 3. We've got Bob B. Sox. It's probably supposed to be pronounced Bobby Sox. And the Blue Jeans on a couple. And I think the last track has all 3 of them. And then the Crystals are on there a couple times too. And these are all like doo-wop groups or Motown groups. So like you've probably heard some of these names before. But yeah, they're definitely good. The version of Frosty the Snowman that's on here is my favorite Frosty the Snowman. And I Saw Mommy Kissing Santa Claus is my favorite track on the record. It's just got that like, it's got this classic 50s twang feel to it in the voice. So like it's the Ronettes, so it's just got this like kind of a thing to it going on, but like so it's got this like borderline sour feel to it. I just really love it.
That's good. So okay, I know you mentioned that you rate this 10 out of 10 impeccable. So would you suggest this to someone who's like not a music major who can appreciate like the mechanics of the actual like project as a whole? Because I know you said that, like for me, I didn't find it too attractive because I'm more like I listen to like the popular ear, right? What's popular,
right? So
would you suggest this to someone who's like maybe not into music the same way?
No, so I would not suggest the record as a whole to most people. I would, like, if I could go back and just recommend bits and pieces to you, I would, because I think that if you have to listen to the whole thing and you're not like super into the production aspect of it or anything else, then I just don't think that you're going to love it as much as someone who is.
AKA me.
Right? But like, if I were to have sent you like, oh, you should check out this version of Frosty the Snowman, you should check out this version of Santa Claus is Coming to Town, and this version of Here Comes Santa Claus, they're all really good. Then like, pop those on your Christmas playlist. Right. You know, because a couple songs is really enjoyable. Yeah. But like to have to listen to the whole record all the way through, like,
it's a little challenging. I will say that. I couldn't like handle listening to the whole, how was it, like 13, 14 songs
it's
all the way
record.
through. But I feel like if it was just like how you said, like kind of like here's a track, like one or two, I could listen to. So overall, I wouldn't recommend you. And I don't even want to like give it a rating.
Right.
Because I'm just like,
it would upset me.
Right. It probably would. But
yeah, I've said I think something is impeccable now. And like, I said I would never say that. And here we are, not even like a month later.
It's
and
fine.
I'm like, this is pretty much impeccable as far as Christmas music is concerned. So of course, like I would understand. You don't want to hurt my feelings. It's okay.
We can agree to disagree. It's fine. We both like Ariana Grande. So
yeah, there we go.
We both love her Christmas and Chill album.
Yeah.
And I think we can end it right here we talked about a lot of jolly topics today. We discussed All I Want for Christmas Is You by Mariah Carey, Ariana Grande's EP, and Phil Spector's album. So we covered a lot today. And again, thank you guys so much for tuning in to today's episode. And if you liked what we had to say, then don't forget to like and subscribe.
Leave a comment, give us a review. We appreciate all of it.
All of it.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. You have a great week. We will see you next week. And I can't promise we won't talk about more Christmas stuff, but just look forward to whatever it is.
Bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Music Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.